tell me about Portugal.
It was great. We were there for a month.
Wow. This is your first time?
Nah, this is my second time at São Miguel, but my first time in Treseda. Because we went to 2 different islands.
Name dropping.
Right? And he has the accent down too.
Treseda. Treseda.
Yeah. But you came to Lisbon too.
I've been to Lisbon, Algarve, Porto.
So I never been.
What?
Go.
Sintra.
My mom is afraid that they're going to take her down in a plane.
Yeah.
With us,
She makes
us
that
with her.
very clear.
Oh yeah, she makes that very clear. Yeah.
I said, what if I drugged you?
I just put you on a plane.
She goes, still, no, I wouldn't go for it. Any highlights, anything you want to share from your trip?
From my trip. Damn.
Well, this time we brought Galileo. So we recently
Well,
had a
that was
baby.
different. You brought your
Yeah.
baby.
So it was his first big trip. It was definitely different traveling with a baby.
Was it chaos, or was he was a good baby?
He's really good. I think it's more just you have a third person to take care of.
Yeah,
So,
I always find that's at the extra pace. It's I just can't just go to the washroom or to
yeah,
it's
or even
like-
getting ready.
oh yeah.
Because we
Yeah,
love
you gotta
fashion.
take time, take turns.
Yeah, what's he
So
wearing?
It's like, all right, you set up all the clothes, and then I go shower. I'm done putting on clothes. Now I'm getting him ready.
Yeah.
And it's just alternating roles.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It is funny. What else did you guys realize about having a kid that you didn't think of?
There's so many.
There's so many
Their
things.
sleeping schedule?
The sleeping schedule.
Yeah. I don't think I really took in when people are like, you're not going to get any sleep. Yeah. Not.
They eventually sleep.
Do they? I
Bring
hope
your
so.
mic in. Bring your mic
Closer
in.
to me?
Yeah. That's fine.
Oh, like too much.
No, I can adjust it. All right. So did you get any inspiration for your brand in Portugal?
Oh yeah, I did.
How did I know that was going to be a good question?
So the whole family came on Casey's side. So Uncle Mario became the star for our inspiration. Because basically what happened was when we were at your mom's house, I did a fitting with him. So I brought a pair of pants and I'm like, hey, can you fit in these? Let's see how it looks. And he was comfortable. He wasn't Uncle Mario's not like a
Girthy guy?
yeah, he's not one of those guys. He has more of a Don mobster attitude type of vibe, you know?
Oh, okay.
So when you see him, you're it's not easy to just approach him to try to be hey, you want to do this? But then he was really excited. So
Oh, wow.
we did that, and then
Maybe was secretly hoping you'd ask over all these years.
yeah.
Finally.
So I'm a
I
fashion
can be
guy deep down.
finally someone recognizes.
Don't you
this-
see my body shape? I
yeah, my
suit
talent.
this. Did he start
drafted.
walking? Posing?
Yeah, but he's just naturally cool. He's actually a naturally cool dude.
What? I mean, I'm not saying he's not, but what do you mean, compared to her dad or my dad?
It's he gives me this Don Corleone,
Yeah.
young Don Corleone,
Oh wow.
that demeanor. If you go back to Godfather when he's a little older, older because it's a movie, but you can't there's similarities I was seeing, and I was yo, if I put him in some drip, some cool clothes, it might be cool. It might translate a little differently and be unique. So
Yeah.
brought up a few clothes, went to a few rock beaches, tried out a few fits, and honestly, he really killed it.
Are we gonna see this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's now a campaign.
What's it called? Is it too early? You don't have
We
to.
don't have a name for it yet, but I feel it might be something along the lines of
The Dawn.
it's the dawn at the beach.
Yeah, but spelled
something-
D-O-N.
Yeah, but something it's healthy to be in water. Something along
Yeah.
those lines, you know. But he was a big inspiration on that end, and I think we also threw Galileo in the mix because we did
Yeah.
a baby clothes set. We did a photo shoot as well. So
You guys are naturals, though.
yeah, it was really cool.
It's cool when you're photogenic and you look good and stuff. I was gonna wear some kind of fun stuff, but I'm like, I just don't want to. I feel like I was gonna start getting sweaty. I don't know if it's hot or just nervous.
I have that same issue, like with just getting sweaty. Like if I like not layer too much, but if I'm it is kind of like you have to like be strategic on how you layer.
But I feel like that's also inspired your designs too, because now you'll make stuff because you sweat. I've
made so many, like on this trip, I've worn a lot of dry fit.
Oh,
a lot of dry fit tops.
Because you're carrying the baby around.
Carrying the baby around, moving around, like any like movement, like
sexy dad.
Sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use that name.
Sexy dad. So I was wearing dry fit and like some of our pieces, and then I realized like, hey, like I need to make more breathable things, like more mesh things, more garment holes by the armpits, just things that'll like air out the body.
This is a way back call out for what like I grew up watching movies that were probably too mature for my age. So there's a movie called Easy Money by Rodney Dangerfield, and he ends up somehow, it's a long story, but he ends up being like the inspiration for a fashion line for the regular guy. And at first I think it came out as they're like mocking this like slob old man, but really like it became such a hit, and it was just like such like loose elastic pants, stretchy material, horrible patterns, but like everyone liked it because it's just like I feel comfortable in this. I don't want to look like uncomfortably cool. I want to be comfortably ugly.
Yeah.
So that was good.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I feel like this happened too with him, like in a sense of like it was comfortably cool. Like it was like not his average age group would be wearing these things, but if they had it on, they'd realize like, oh, like I can comfortably be in this. Like we had old ladies staring at Uncle Mario, like staring him down, up and
checking
down,
him out,
and his girl is there like assisting, like dressing him up and stuff, and like they're staring at his fit. They're like, what like I don't even know what they're saying in Portuguese, but it was just so funny. It was like he could like go and walk around and probably grab like 10 of them. Like it was hilarious, but he was comfortable.
Yeah, I think there's a point where a man starts not caring.
Yeah,
they don't care about how they look. They're like, oh, whatever. Like if they're married or they got kids, they're like, what do I have to look nice for? They kind of lose that mojo.
Yeah,
and I think part of it is like they don't even know what looks good on them. They don't know how what fits right. Yeah, because most of the time they don't care about shopping. They're not going to be like, I'm going to go and try a few things on.
That's true.
No guy does that.
Mario's interesting.
I mean, you might do that.
He has like a uniform.
I was gonna say, yeah.
He has like he wears the same kind of shirts, the same pants. Sharon just sticks to his like uniform, but she does shop for him.
Yeah, he's literally he's very particular in a sense of like having that one set uniform where he doesn't have to.
Did you try again?
Yeah, Siri, not
Siri,
right
we're
now.
not talking to you.
Okay.
He's hacking you, man.
I mean, they're doing something, but okay, I think we're still okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got his uniform, so he has an idea of like what works for him, and he sticks to that. And like
I think that's kind of like just give me a pair of jeans and a top.
Yeah.
Well, literally. I kind of want to do that now too, because I feel like being super busy, it's nice to just have, okay, these are my outfits, and like I know I look good in these, and I know I'm comfortable in them.
It's like your off-duty cool uniform, but it's still cool because you're comfortable and like you have no care in the world about.
You don't have to think about it.
It'd be nice if we had like scrubs that were cool. See?
Yeah.
I'm an ideas guy.
That's cool.
You're the doers. You guys will let me make sense of this. But
you use scrubs here?
I dress like I wear scrubs, but they're not scrubs.
But do you need scrubs here?
Do I need them? I thought about it. I think if you do scrubs, it's almost like everyone should wear them. Because if you have everyone wearing scrubs, and some clinics do that, but then some people are doing like psychotherapy. I don't really need to wear scrubs.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what's happening in this session that you're going to have to burn these?
That's so funny. What do you actually, like, what uniform would you need here?
It's like business casual, I find.
Oh, okay. So then it works.
Yeah,
it works using your own clothes and.
I figure just everyone do their own thing as long as you
Yeah.
look neat. You
Yeah.
look like you're not like. There was a time when people were kind of coming in with like jogging pants and like a old sweater that looked like it's got perma stained. I'm like, that's not business casual. That's bathroom casual.
Yeah.
That's Sunday morning cleaning.
That's
casual.
that's I'm getting over the flu casual. I threw up in this yesterday. Hey, so tell me about the name. Mère de Dieu.
Now
You
did you?
said that so well.
Did I? I don't. I
Yeah.
feel like I didn't say it well.
I can't say it.
No, you said it well.
Yeah, you said it well.
I took French.
You're cheating.
You're cheating.
No, but it was like elementary school, like je suis, tu suis.
Once you do that, it's cheating.
But I mean, what's the translate? Gods of the sea?
Sea of Gods.
Sea of Gods. My bad.
Yeah, I get a lot of flack for it from So I grew up.
My
in,
mom?
Everybody, yeah, everyone that's super Christian and religious, because I grew up in a religious home, and I guess some of the inspiration too is a bit like not religious, but it's like
Mythological.
like spiritual a bit. Like basically the concept is Sea of Gods. We're all like, I still believe we're all made in a higher power's image, like God's image.
Mm-hmm.
So when we come together, we become a sea of gods. And in collaboration, any movement, any like ideation, innovation you put forward, like it becomes kind of like a wave that you start, you know, and like nobody can really stop a wave. So that's the idea and concept of like what it means to be a sea of gods. And so it's like, it's not about like, oh, we think we're gods, da 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 da. Like it's, if we want to get really technical in the Bible, it does say we are made of God's image, so we have a bit of that. So anything we say, affirmations, things like that, like they come to fruition because we have a bit of that power from him. So, or her. So that's kind of like how I see
him,
it.
I think I was good.
Yeah, him. For those who are very, yeah.
Well, I like that. I mean, depending on how deep you want to get into religion, like, I mean, we are meant to, like, be like God. Like, we should act in accordance with his rules, his laws.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as opposed to it sounding polytheistic, really what you're trying to highlight is, like, when we're all, like, in harmony, we are, like, reflecting God.
Exactly. That's like the best that I couldn't have said it better. Because
I'm really good at marketing.
yeah. Well, we're gonna talk.
Talking now. Sign me up.
You're already subscribed.
I'm a medium. Well, Casey, what do you say?
About
Anything, but the brand, like, where do you?
I think, like, for me, it's most inspiring because it's like everyday life, and like watching Pierre like take inspiration from literally everyday life, and like we were talking about the functionality of stuff, or like honestly, like I feel like every time we go on a trip, the night before he's like up till 6 a.m. making something that he decided to do last minute, like a vest, and it irritates me, but it's also very inspiring because he's, like you said, he's a doer. So I feel like his like passion for the brand is really special and in it, and all the pieces are just really like functional and like made for a purpose, which I think is cool. And the ocean concept, I don't know if we started to touch on that. I feel like even being like on the islands and talking about inspiration, like our family comes from the islands, and I love being near the ocean, and the brand is inspired by the ocean, and like aquatic life and like functionality of ocean product.
Functionality, equipment,
Oceanography.
yeah, and like exploration equipment, like
That's
so,
also what I think about is exploration.
yeah, like we have like, for example, like this vest, like there's like D rings here, like these are things you find like on a scuba diver, but it's like very functional for everyday life. Like I got my keys attached to this, you know, like because I don't want to.
No one would ever think of that.
You know.
So you're looking for a spot to put your keys.
See, that's so function. I love that. Just you just and then something. I didn't know there was keys in there. I just thought it was a pocket.
Yeah, you know. So it's like it's one of those things because it's like to touch back on like even the term, like the whole name, Sea of Gods. It's like that reflection of like we want to see ourselves in like the highest form of ourselves. So like what does the clothes look like when you think of that? And like it's not just about the look, but it's also about how does it make your life easier? Because we didn't want to be a brand that just like gives you clothes without a solution to your everyday life or everyday struggles. Even like I know like I can lose things pretty easily sometimes, so I need like pockets in strategic places where I know like I'm always going to feel certain things, or like I need a place to put the keys, or like things like that, you know. So
I think it's also cool because I've learned that like watching the brand grow, it's really like it can't be done quickly. So it's like some of the pieces like every like season get better because we'll be like using them, and I'll be like, Pierre, like I need a D-ring here because I keep like wanting to put something here. So it's like the next rendition of it is better because we've like tested it and realized where like functionality can change, I think. Or like two-way zippers will make something that's like just a regular zipper, and then it's like, you know, this would actually be so much better if I can like unzip it this way. Or
like a lot of wear testing.
Yeah.
Basically. We're like the
Which
test
takes
dummies
time.
for a lot of the things.
Do you ever find that you impress yourself with what you came up with? Did you ever like, holy cow, I didn't think I would have, like, that's so ingenious. That's so like, that was like divinely inspired.
Yeah. There are some pieces where I'm like, holy, like this is...
It's beyond me.
Like it was like, it's like in hindsight, you're like, wow, I'm glad that like I was staring at old like war outfits or old like just like all the inspiration that kind of got you to that point, and then you're like, you see the final product and you're like, how the hell, like, you know how you got there, but you're still like flabbergasted.
You're not,
you know. And then you see, and then when it gets to a point where like people are wearing it, like that's like very cool because it's like, oh, like I did my part. Like it's living now in a different space, like where it needs to be.
Right on. Did you ever make something you hate?
Hell yeah.
Like, do you ever look back at like the first things you're making, like, what?
Oh my god,
stupid.
You know what? Speaking of scrubs, so one time, my business partner Drew, we came up with. We had this cardigan idea. This was earlier in the day. We didn't know. This is when I didn't do my textile fabric classes, so I didn't really take in like how to like source materials for certain items and functionalities. So like we went and got some whatever fabric to like do a sample of a cardigan. It was in like it was more of a fabric that you would find on a suit.
Okay.
So like more of like a cotton, not wool blend, but a bit like polyester-ish. So
and you made a sweater out of that.
So we made a cardigan out of it. And when we made this cardigan, I don't know what was going on, but like it was blue, like scrub blue. And when you put it on, it just looked like you worked at the hospital. And like we were so proud of all our other pieces, and that was that one piece we had in the mix. So we were going to our families and being like, hey, check out our first like sample run, like we're getting this thing, we're getting things done, da, da, da. And then we're like showing everything, and they're like, oh wow, that's nice, oh that's nice. The last piece was the scrub outfit, and they're just like, so do you work at St. Mike's Hospital or something? And it's like, what is that?
Anticlimactic.
And we just went, and we're like, okay, like,
okay, well, you'll learn. I mean, I'm sure it'll sell.
Yeah, maybe at a hospital.
But then, like, how did you like learn how to do all this stuff? Because it's not really like, when I look at you, I don't think expert sewer. Not at first.
Yeah.
Well, how did you develop this skill? Why did you want to?
When I was in junior high, we had family studies, which was this class that like taught you how to do life things.
Everybody knows what family studies.
Okay, yeah, good. We had our first item was a gym bag.
Okay.
So we had to make this is weird. It's almost like child labor. They make you make your own gym bag that you'll use in gym class.
That's child labor for you.
Yeah. So
There's a child somewhere very mad at you.
yeah. So we did that, but I kind of like liked it. It was like therapeutic. I didn't feel any chaos going on. And then my mom at the same time, like, what made it easier for me to be into it is my mom was already sewing way back.
Okay, so she
was in fashion. Like, she was
okay.
a buyer. Like, she used to, well, I say buyer, but like she used to like buy and sell clothes in between Italy and France, like Paris. So like that, she kind of inspired me and exposed me to like luxury and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, like I was always into music and art, and then I got into screen printing after I finished high school.
I like screen printing.
Yeah.
Do you screen print it?
I don't.
Oh.
I just like the idea of it. I mean, I want to buy a Cricut.
Yeah, you know. So
Is that what you're going to do?
a
No,
Cricut?
we don't have a Cricut.
You have
No.
you have good things, right?
No, not a Cricut.
Yeah, I hear a baby. I don't know about you guys.
I'm
I
gonna
do
grab the
too.
leaf.
Let's see what's going on. You might want to be interviewed.
He probably does. I wouldn't blame him. He's good? Make
take him
yourself
out?
at home. My mom used to sew. I don't think she does it anymore. But she's like, I grew up with
Oh,
her, like,
cool.
she would only just wear stuff she made.
That's cool.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. Or she might have mentioned it. I feel
Probably
like,
you don't maybe listen
been a
to her.
No, I listen to her a lot.
You okay with the baby being on camera?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, the baby that cute. Would be a shame not to have him on camera. What's up, Galileo? What's
Say
up,
hi.
big boy?
Yeah.
So
Hi.
Papa's
cute.
telling a story about
Telling a
learning
story.
screen printing.
I'm telling a story, you in your cashmere pants. Yeah, Dappa Papa. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But just not to change subjects, but like,
Yeah.
tell me about this little baby. What does he do that's so amazing to you?
Everything.
Yeah.
He's learning how to eat solids now.
Wow.
So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He's alert. He understands. He's a listener, eh?
yeah, he
Yeah.
does a lot of observing.
Yeah.
Gets startled very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went in the ocean.
Did he like it?
Yeah. He did.
Yeah.
For a little?
Yeah. The first splash was a little.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What are you doing
The
this to
first
me?
splashes were a lot, and then after that, he got hit by a big wave.
Oh.
It was me, him, his uncle Chris, and his wife Kelby were like just in the shore, and then he was getting used to the wave, and then the wave hit him, and he was just kind of like, all right, bring on the next one.
Oh, then he welcomed it. That's nice.
Yeah.
What's that thing on your face?
Hey. So you were talking about brands, like you. Are you like a connoisseur of like high end branding, and they like that kind of stuff?
I feel like we've had the luxury of having some friends that work in like luxury fashion, so we've been exposed to a lot of that world. Because like I personally couldn't afford to buy like a ton of luxury goods, but I feel like learning from them, like the ins and outs, I think has been really
Yeah.
good for us, and even just like building a brand and like knowing people who like sell luxury fashion and like what's important and what's not important, and like I think we get really good insight from them too.
Yeah, I'd say yeah, because like I did study a lot of like luxury brands and and how the business works, but I think also like in combination with having friends who are actually working there and being able to give you the ins and out insight, drop off a lookbook, like things like that, like
Packaging even,
packaging, like
Interesting.
getting little goods from like, I don't know, Christmas parties or whatever, and then you just kind of get a glimpse of like what the branding looks like, how they market themselves, how they position themselves in the market, like things like that. I think I've learned a lot. So it's been really helpful.
Do you see? Do you find patterns, or is it more obvious to you now, like what they try to, like the mapping that they do with like how things set up for maybe not this season, but for next year at this point where they want to be?
Like, if it's easy to see.
Do you notice that, like some people be like, well, I noticed that last year they kind of pushed orange, but that's because they really wanted red this year. So you can't just go from blue to red.
Interesting. Like catching on to the patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the trend forecast, basically. Like,
Sure. Or they're like, all of a sudden it's like corduroy is back in style, but like you can't just jump from jean to corduroy.
yeah, there are
You gotta throw
brands,
some velvet in there.
Yeah, but it's funny because like a lot of brands kind of, they
Buck the trend.
like they don't not all of them follow those kind of like methods and rules.
Yeah.
They might do the same color the next season, but they have like different silhouettes, and they have like maybe sequences involved or like things of that nature. So it just depends on what that brand's ethos is.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there one that you really admire?
I guess from the earlier days, yeah, I'd say like Margiela, like Maison Margiela, Jean Paul Gaultier, Rick Owens, Ray Kawakubo, which is Comme des Garçons, Yoji Yamamoto.
Wow.
Yoji Yamamoto is actually a big inspiration in like where I'm from, like Congo. That was one of the first brands my mom introduced to me as like a high fashion brand. Like she put me in an Armani suit for graduation, but like that was like, it's Armani, like it's like the classic like Italian brand. But I think when it got into like more like innovation designer type of territory, Yoji Yamamoto was one of the ones for me. And like understanding the relationship between Japanese culture and our culture in Congo, like there's actually like a connection.
How?
So the Japanese government and the Congolese government had worked together on creating the I hope I'm pronouncing it right, the Matati Bridge in Congo.
Yes.
So if you go to that bridge, there's a flag, a Congolese flag on one side and a Japanese flag on the other.
Right.
And then I don't know if this inspired us to really pay attention to Japan, but a lot of the Congolese musicians, there's been since like I'd say 80s, 90s, there's been a wave of them wearing a lot of Japanese Japanese brands and like mixing it with Congolese culture, and a lot of it was Yoji Yamamoto.
Wow.
Y3.
What kind of cars do they drive in the Congo?
There's a lot of
I guess what I'm asking is there a lot of Japanese cars?
Yeah, there's a lot of Japanese cars, a lot of Jeeps.
Oh,
of
interesting.
the terrain.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the reason why I jumped to that thought, because I remember I was in Jamaica and they were doing a lot of infrastructure and they were all like Japanese like machines, trucks and whatever. So I think the idea there was the Japanese government said like, we're going to help you with like building roads, but we're going to sell you just our cars. So the countries make deals with other countries.
Yeah.
So that our brand, like we're going to help you build the roads that our cars that you're going to buy from us is going to be driven on. So that was, when you were saying that, I'm like, that's a callback. I think this is something, I mean, I'm sure a lot of countries do this, that they whatever their industry is, and they try to like go to areas. They're like, hey, we're going to help you with this, but
Kickback. We need a kickback. Yeah.
Plus, we'll bring over a lot of our movies and posters and
Yeah. That has nothing to do with nothing.
yeah, just and it's sometimes it's interesting when there's a mixing of cultures, because I wouldn't think from where you're originating from that they would have such a strong like Asian influence, but sometimes it's that contrast, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like you thought one thing, but guess what?
Yeah, and it's
I
funny.
know karate.
Yeah, I know. Right? It's hilarious too, because like on the flip side, a lot of there's like this like sub-Japanese culture. They've created a book, magazine catalog of like Congolese dandies, which is basically dandies. They're called les sapeurs. Mm-hmm. They're a movement of like well-dressed people. It's like a well-dressed society, because like in Congo, like there's like this like it could get a little superficial, but for the most part people like to have a great appearance and like to carry themselves like really elegantly, dressed well,
sure,
whatever that trend may be. And that became a big thing, and a lot of stuff was mixed in with, like I said earlier, the Japanese kind of like attire, and it's been mixed with our culture. And then now like the people in Japan have made books about it, and like there's like photography of like Congolese people dressed up and stuff. So it's funny like how on one end we're wearing their stuff and like paying homage, and on the other end they're paying homage back to like for us paying homage. So it's like
I think that's in like part of their culture is that they seem to be like they hold respect, like they want to show respect. That's something. It's almost like a measure of honor, right? Like I'm going to like bow to you because like I'm respecting you, but I'm actually kind of like that shows you who I am, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And then here, you guys prepared a lot for Caravana.
Yeah.
Well, prepare is an understatement. I would say it was like your practically a full-time job. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did.
Bring your mic in, Casey, because you're so loud.
Quiet. We did another section this year for Toronto Caribbean Carnival is what they call it now.
Did I say the wrong name?
No, I feel like Caravana, it's still known as Caravana. They just legally had to change the name. So it's always a lot. This year was definitely different with Galileo. But he was a trooper. He came to the mass camp. We got through it.
Made some visits.
Some visits. Yeah, he was great. But that from, I guess, like we start designing normally in November, and then work on our prototype for the season over like December, January. Have to have the prototype done in February, and then we launch the costume in April, and then from April till end of July, which is parade day, it's just production. So it kind of it takes up a lot of the year, and it's all handmade. A lot of it's outsourced now to China. So this was our first year outsourcing more to China. We just did all the feather work here, just because with him, our team's small. So if we were going to do it this year, we were like, we need to try outsourcing. So how was that?
So what, I mean, I'm trying to dovetail like what we were just talking about with like, you came from Calgary.
Yeah.
You came from Stampede.
I did.
And then you're working on Caribbean. Carnival. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd I get there? Is that
I mean, it's something we can talk about.
It's, so Calgary, like, very little Caribbean culture at all. Obviously, there's a large Caribbean culture here, but in Calgary there just isn't much. But I had a friend who was from Trinidad, his family, and I moved to Toronto actually about 10 years ago to go to school. I studied architecture, and I remember his family was going to Trinidad, and they had invited me because he knows I like to travel, and he was like, if you want to come down to check out Carnival, let us know. And I was close with his mom and stuff, so I was like, I feel comfortable, like I know they'll show me around. So I went down. I had no idea what carnival was, didn't know soca music, nothing, but I went and it was amazing, had the time of my life, was inspired. And then when I came back, one of my closest friends, Dion, he has a Caribbean catering company here, and he's Trini, and he wanted to start a section for carnival here, and knew I designed, wanted to kind of try it out with me. So him and I started, and then we have another partner, Calvin, and he's Jamaican Guyanese background, and he's grown up in the community. He's kind of the heart of our team, loves networking. He wanted to join and work on the concepts as well. So that's kind of how we split up. Calvin does the marketing and like connections part. I do all the production, the design, and Pierre helps with production as well and designing. And then, we started our section and we've had it for about 5 years now. Yeah, this was our 5th year. We've been working on different concepts like integrating sport as well and kind of sharing how carnival is a sport and the concept of that, and trying to integrate brands on how they can work with carnival and how we can get more funding into carnival in the city, because that's a really big struggle. And I think a lot of brands don't know how to authentically interact with it because it is such a special cultural moment, and we don't want to kind of water that down. So we've been kind of working with brands and companies and corporate to do that properly. So we've been doing a mini carnival actually at CAMH Hospital for the past 4 years. So we put on a carnival there for their patients. We worked with TikTok this year to bring a carnival event to their office. We've worked a bit with Nike and working on kind of integrating the sneakers and releases of shoes into carnival. So it's been really interesting. And I've learned so much. Everything is, like I said, handmade and done locally. It's a lot of artisans, people that do wire bending, artists that kind of go unseen and don't, I think, get the respect that they should for what they do. But I learned everything from them, from just being around, putting in the time. You don't get paid for it. So it is a passion. You have to really love it.
What do you think should be done? What's your hope of hey, you know what? If I could just blow out a candle and it would be done on birthday cake, my wish, what would you want to see change? Would you want it to be a much more heavily sponsored and or a bigger event, a more frequent? What would you want it to be?
That's such a layered question. But
okay, never mind.
No, wait, I have a few
Back
answers.
to Pierre.
She's got a few answers.
Jump in.
She's got.
I think right now the